If you struggle with hitting your fairway wood, keep watching. Today's video, you are going to learn the 3 keys for hitting your fairway woods as best as you possibly can. And we'll give you a drill at the end to show you how to engrain it. This has turned out to be in more and more bags than we saw just 5 years ago. It's kind of replaced the hybrid again. Things are kind of coming full circle. And we're seeing far more lofts with fairway woods commonly, especially with good players, than we used to see. It used to be good players would have driver, 3-wood, 2-iron, and that was it. Now you're seeing the best player in the world carry a 9-wood.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
You bring the ball in high and soft.
You got to hit it high and long, and it takes away the skill of having to hit 2, 3, 4-iron,
right,
even, which is one of the more difficult things to do in golf, like the separator sometimes of the players in the field is how well they hit those long ones. Now, you throw a 9-wood in the bag, it's like cheating.
It is.
You get it set up right. You know, we happen to love Titleist. They set us up with these great GTs. Are unbelievable.
So easy to
hit. If you get fit for the right one, go ahead and get fit. I mean, all you really have to do, when I'm hitting these things, I'm just thinking, hey, man, you just got to make contact.
It's going to go high, and it's going to go pretty darn straight.
In the 4-iron or 3-iron, I'm having to make that ball go. And that's how I feel in my head.
Yeah, you're like, okay, am I hitting it good enough to pull this out?
I got to hit a shot here. So, yeah, it's literally like cheating.
Yeah, and it should be a weapon, right? You get in that range where you need to pull a head cover, you shouldn't be thinking, okay, is this going to be a good shot? You should be thinking, okay, this thing's going to be coming in nice, high, and soft. But you've got to do a few key things to make that happen. People
do a lot of different things with these. I think they get in that mode. It's a long club and it's on the ground and the face is, you know, you got to get it in the air. It doesn't look like a lot of face, you know, loft-wise, depending on what one you're using. I think one of the first things is you've got to make sure you're not trying to help it in the air.
Probably the number one issue, right? Thin balls.
It's got plenty of loft. Sometimes it doesn't look like it, especially depending on how you set up to it. Plenty of loft on it. All you have to do is try not to help it up in the air and give it this number. That's the first thing. So just understand, it's an old cliche, let the club do the work. Just literally don't try to help it in the air. Just make kind of a normal pass at it, brush the ground, the ball gets up in the air.
And we're mainly talking about in this video off the ground.
Yeah, no, 100% off the ground.
Right, hopefully fairway, but off the ground for sure. It's, you know, like you said, you're looking at the least amount of loft you'll have off the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, little throw down at the bottom to get it airborne, and you'll usually bottom groove it, and it'll go lower and nowhere. And a good way to practice this is kind of tee it up a little bit so you get used to getting on top of it. But you've got to let that club, these clubs are fantastic if you let them do their job.
Yeah. Number 2, the clubs are getting longer now because we're in our fairway woods, right? So give the club time to complete its circle. Don't rush. Don't get it here and change direction. You've got a longer club to deal with here. Get it back there, let it swing, let it finish. Even if you have to feel a little pause, probably a good idea for most people. They don't rush to transition. Let it finish, kind of unwind smoothly, and you'll have your best chance of making this work the way it was designed.
Yeah, when we see golfers who aren't great fairway wood players, it's, okay, I've got almost a driver link shaft. Sometimes it feels like it with the ball sitting on the ground, and I've got a little loft. I've got to really create speed really fast to get this ball airborne, and you wind up shutting the swing off early and kind of throwing at it and throwing the hands at it, and it undoes that timing aspect of it.
We've talked about this with the driver before, but this is such another good analogy. I learned this from David Toms. You know,
it's pretty good with fairway wood.
Best ball strikers of all time. Yeah,
famous hole-in-one with a fairway wood at the PGA.
Just a machine, and watched him give a lot of clinics to sponsors and stuff like that. And one of his takeaways was, hey, as the clubs get longer, make sure you take your time. And he would say, well, if I have a wedge in my hand, this is a circle, right? If I just spin it around here, this club head makes a circle. Well, that circle takes less time than this circle. So make sure you give enough time to complete that circle. And that alone, I've used that. I stole that from him years ago. Just that one idea helps people as the club gets longer. Hey, give this a little more time to work. And again, makes your life a lot easier. So you're not trying to hurry. You just give it time, let the swing develop smoothly. This club will do all the work.
Yeah, it's really resisting that hit impulse of little loft, long ways away to really kind of add something to it by abruptly stopping the backswing. Now, number 3, not hitting an iron, we're not hitting a driver up on it, we're not crashing down on it.
Yeah, as you get to your fairway woods, 3 wood, 5 wood, 7 wood, I kind of all lump those kind of together when they're off the deck. You know, with the advent of TrackMan, we can actually see what really good players do with these clubs, and they're pretty much a 0 angle of attack, maybe slightly down.
The faster players go creep down a couple degrees, but pretty neutral.
For the average player, you're trying to get a 0 angle of attack, and that means you're trying to contact that ball at the very bottom of the arc, right? It's not coming down, it's not coming up. You've just got right at the bottom. You want to try to feel the entire, you're brushing the sole of the club right there where the ball is, and you just barely tickle in the grass there, and that ball will hit in the right part of the face, which is kind of just up from the bottom groove here up towards the middle, and you'll get some nice high launching fairway woods. And I think part of the reason people like them so much too, the woods don't tend to gear effect quite as much for some reason. I know the hybrids I can get left with mine. My fairway woods, I feel like they're so much easier to hit. They're nice and high and straighter.
Yep. They're building them more like drivers, faster ball speeds now. That's why you can loft up and, got some curve on the face to help bring those balls back to the center. So what about a drill for this? Can we tie all this together?
Yeah.
You got a really simple one.
I've been using this forever, especially with fairway woods. I'll just take a tee. And
get out of the way.
On the mat here is perfect because it'll sit kind of flush. It's not up on the grass or anything. So if you have a mat at your house, this is great practice just for kind of the low point of where the club bottoms out and how much it's coming down and the angle it's coming down. So what you're trying to do here is make a swing where you can clip that tee without banging into the ground or breaking the tee. So you couldn't do anything like this, right? Because you would snap the tee. You can't do anything like this because you can't get to the tee. So you have to kind of have a kind of a wideish arc with the club, so it just kind of lines up for impact. You don't want to be doing this. You're trying to get this ball up in the air, right? So I'll just make a couple of practice swings, trying to feel that, just barely brush the grass like that, and I'll get in there and I'll see if I can do it kind of slow. And I've been doing this for a lot of years, so I mean, I can do it, but it may not be as easy for you on the first one.
Right.
But if there was a ball there, I would have hit that right in the sweet spot with 0 angle of attack, ball gets up in the air. So do that in your backyard or do it in the house if you got a mat. It's a great one.
Some of you are going to feel like that tee is impossible to hit because you're used to kind of hitting the middle of the ball. Some of you are going to feel it's possible to hit because you're used to crashing down so far on it. This is a great drill to do.
Like a test almost.
That is exactly right. And it's something to, if you can't do it, slow down. Like, don't shrink the swing. Again, you got to finish the backswing, but just take the speed off of it until you can build that speed back up. But it's a fantastic drill.